And then on July 3rd, we have our full moon in Capricorn. Full moons always take place in the opposite sign of the sun. So the sun is currently in the sign of Cancer. The moon is in Capricorn. Now, there's definitely a sense of adventure attached to this full moon, and it's Capricorn. So we don't necessarily associate the sign of Capricorn with adventure. We tend to associate the sign of Capricorn with hard work, okay? But this is a really great full moon for pleasure-seeking adventures as well, but doing it in a practical manner. So it's like work first, play later. There will still be an element of that to this full moon. And remember, the full moons are always a point of release. It's always a point of heightened emotions and heightened awareness. And we already know that we're starting the summer off that way anyway. And so this full moon will serve to bring that up. So there's always going to be a balance of the positive and the negative, the head and the heart. And listen, a full moon is about opposition. It's the sun in Cancer in the exact opposite sign to the moon in Capricorn. Cancer is the mommy of the zodiac, the maternal energy, where Capricorn is the daddy of the zodiac, the paternal energy, balance. And I will pull up the chart for you here in a moment and run through it real quick. But this particular full moon is definitely going to highlight relationship dynamics. Full moons always do. But again, because of all of the current cosmic weather and also what's going on within our realities, we're going to really be feeling this. So when it comes to full moon energy, we always want to reflect upon letting go to grow. What habits are no longer serving us? What behaviors? What are we looking to rid ourselves of for peace, for forgiveness, for security, for comfort? We want to really reflect on that, and we want to work toward releasing it lovingly. We have to take the steps. We have to do the work. That's a part of manifesting. That's a part of release rituals. It's not that you just put it out there and expect it to come in. You put it out there with intention, but then you also show the universe, show the divine that you are working with them to co-create your reality, to co-create, to bring in what you really desire and to release what you know is not working for you lovingly. So let's talk about this full moon in Capricorn. So here we have our Capricorn full moon. It takes place on July 3rd. 7:38 a.m. Eastern Time. There's a prerequisite here to fireworks, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And the first thing that we see here is the sun right here at 11 degrees, 18 minutes of Cancer, directly opposite the moon at 11:18 of Capricorn. Now, like I mentioned, the full moons are always going to bring up opposing energies, the opposing dynamics in our lives, and they're going to feel emotional. They're also going to feel more intuitive. Now, while everybody will feel and experience this full moon, it is going to be the most palpably felt if you are a water sign, which is Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. If you are a cardinal sign, which is Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or Aries, and even more so if your points or placements fall between 9 and 13 degrees of any of these signs, Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, Aries, you are really going to be feeling heightened awareness and emotion under this full moon. Now we've got Mercury over here hanging out at 14 degrees and 4 minutes of Cancer. So Mercury is conjunct the sun opposite the moon. So some communications could come in spotty, staticky. We may have to sift through what others are saying. It might not be clear. So be sure that if you are unclear, you ask the questions. You're not afraid to ask the questions that need to be asked to give you the clarity that is necessary. Because this might just feel a little bit unclear. Or you may think something's one way and someone else means it in a totally different manner. And because you didn't ask, you didn't get the clarity, you see? So don't be afraid to ask questions. We've also got Jupiter here at 9 degrees of Taurus supporting this full moon. So we've got the blessings of Jupiter here. So as long as we are doing good, good can likely come back to us, but we must be doing our work. Saturn is hanging out over here at 7 degrees of Pisces, currently retrograde. Saturn is supporting this energy, which is helpful. This is great for projects. This is great for endeavors. This is great for straightening the score, evening the score. This is great for giving up outdated modes of thinking, outdated ways of operating. There could be big benefits to our career, our goals, and aspirations because we are dealing with Capricorn energy, the big daddy boss. And because Saturn is the planet that rules Capricorn, it makes Saturn the ruler of this full moon. And Saturn is in a pretty decent position here. So this is helpful. Now, we've also got this sexy, spicy aspect going on. We've got Venus at 22 degrees of Leo, still direct, and Mars at 25 degrees of Leo. So we've got this Mars-Venus conjunction going on here in the fiery, passionate sign of Leo. So relationships can really heat up. The passion could be sizzling, again, but that can go the opposite way and cause fighting and friction and tension, especially if it's not a romantic relationship and it's just a friendship or a coworker. You may find that one or more relationships in your life are really feeling the heat of this energy. Now, we also have Pallas here, Pallas Athene at 26 degrees of Leo, and this speaks to the wisdom of our body. And I am pulling this in because while we're dealing with this Venus-Mars conjunction, and while we're dealing with all of this relationship stuff that could be coming up, these dynamics, it's important to tune in to your body, to feel what is going on within your soul, the seat of your soul, which is your intuition. Trust your body's reactions under this full moon, all the time actually, not just this full moon. Trust your body's reactions, trust the rhythm, trust that you feel what you feel for a reason. You don't always have to justify a gut feeling. You don't ever have to justify a gut feeling. That is one thing that I have learned in the hardest ways possible over the years with doing the work that I do when it comes to my own personal reality. The only times that I've really had tremendous regret was when I said yes, when I really wanted to say no, when my gut instinct was to say no or to turn away from something, and I actually didn't do that. That's where I've had regret, right? That's typically how it works. But when we tune in, the seat of our soul, our intuition will not fail us. And this full moon is going to remind you of that in some form or fashion. So pay attention. If your energy, if your nervous system responds negatively towards someone or something, tune into that. And likewise, if your nervous system, if your energy responds really positively to someone or something, tune into that. That is how you know. It doesn't matter what appears on the surface. It matters what your soul is telling you. Now, I want to be clear with this full moon that there is a really big energy of aiming for what you want. We have a fixed star called Nunki conjunct the moon. Now, Nunki falls in the constellation of Sagittarius. And this fixed star is actually seen on the vein of the arrow of the archer, which is the symbol for Sagittarius, okay? On the vein, which is the broad blade of the archer, okay? Of the bow and arrow. And without going into a whole mythology of the asteroids and the fixed stars, Nunki is a fixed star representative of truthfulness. Now, if you follow me, if you follow astrology, Sagittarius is the sign that is connected to truth. And so Nunki speaks to truthfulness, also optimism, and also an open mind when it comes to faith, spirituality, and religion, regardless of your belief system. So again, this full moon could bring up something or someone challenging you in those areas of life that forces you to look inward and really re-identify your truth and commit to it, or decide that you're living out a truth that no longer serves you, okay? That's the goal, bow and arrow of Nunki here conjunct the moon, to get you to realize this, to get you to realize something about your own inner authority, your own truth, your own belief system. Now, it is a fortunate and fruitful fixed star for the most part. And side note, it indicates fated events with kings and or a large portion of mankind. So let's watch for that. Let's see if what and if comes up around this full moon in relation to people in royalty. It might be nothing, but pay attention to that. And again, remember, it doesn't have to be on July 3rd. It could be the end of June. It could be from the end of June through the mid to the end of July. All right, so that's the full moon that's taking place on July 3rd.